What's up, horror buzzers? We are inside the Red Barn Maze at Not Scary Farm, just hours before opening, and we are here with Gus Kreuger.
Hey, everybody.
The designer of this year's Red Barn. Now, this was a concept that was not yours initially, correct? Or were you a part of it?
Actually, no. This was mine initially.
Okay.
It was. There were different plans for this venue for last year's haunt, and when Laura Hanneman split, there was a change in. I guess a change in the dynamic of what we were doing for the show. So they switched gears on this one, and they wanted to get a maze in here. So a few of us put together. Well, a few of us. There's three of us, so a few of us put together.
That does count as a few.
It does. I mean, that's the math of the few, right? So
right.
There we go. So we put together different concepts of what we could do here, and so I wrote this concept for the barn. This was chosen, and then just because it was on an accelerated time frame, Daniel and I worked together to make it happen last year.
Accelerated. Now, what's the normal time frame of a maze? A basic.
The design, you usually get a few months to really make it happen and hammer down the quirks of it. This we designed kind of start to finish in a month.
Wow.
Last year. So
easily just like a third of the time.
Yeah, it was rushed, and that's why they put us both on it. I wrote the concept and backstory in a day, pretty much, and it was just like, all right, here we go. Let's strap in and get rolling. But it was well received, and obviously there were things last year that we didn't really get the time to make what we wanted them to make, and that's something that I was able to address this year, is really just sort of flesh it out and see what areas could be improved and hopefully improve upon them.
And you did something different this year with how you let people into the maze, right?
Yeah. We were trying to, on certain busier nights we're not really able to do it, but we've tried to pulse it so people get more of a sense of being in that horror movie, where you're in with a small group and you're hurried along to try to look out for the boogeyman that's around the corner.
Cool. Well, you want to give us a tour of this maze and
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe give us, I don't know, some insight on design and maybe little hidden gems?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, where we start right here, this is the, I really wanted this opening of it to be kind of, it's innocuous, but it's really not, in the sense that this is where they keep the hay for all of the various animals. But it's also a warning when you come in. I really think that when you have...
That's kind of a warning right there.
Yeah, this is the warning, right? And this is one of my additions for this year. Cross did a great job getting me a good body. But for me, the barn it sort of lives and dies based on who they're able to get, who comes near the barn. They bring them in. They do what they need to do to them. They take whatever supplies they have for whatever uses they need, and they do that. So this was a traveling salesman who really wasn't very useful to them. But he's a great decoration. So he's got his briefcase, he's got his tie,
It's a central theme of a lot of the slasher films, being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, definitely. And that's sort of like we wanted to, it was a great start last year in getting that horror movie vibe, but I kind of just wanted to push it much further in that direction this year and just have it feel like I just walked into a horror movie. And with this year, the thing that drives it is the senior trip students that are trapped here,
which is like my favorite thing.
Thank you.
It's hilarious. And what do the shirts say?
Jonestown's High Senior Trip. Our time is now. So that was a lot lot of fun. I got to give
Jim Jones Massacre returns.
yeah, basically they just had a really unfortunate. And I got to give credit to that was actually Jeff Tucker came up with the Jonestown thing.
So of course he did.
That was fun because I was tossing around ideas like what would be a fun name, and he threw that out. And I'm like, oh, that's gold. So I just put the little "Our Time Is Now" tag because they're having a great time in the woods. That was fun because I got to design the shirt, and a lot of times when we do that type of stuff, it's just whatever we could buy off the rack. But I did the design of the shirt, and wardrobe got them sent out, and they're specially made for this show. So that was a lot of fun.
Cool.
So yeah, this is kind of where they are. You come in here, and if you walk through those doors, you're screwed. It's just, that's the way it is with these guys. And this is just a little way of saying, hi, how you doing? We're probably going to kill you. This piece over here, I actually inherited from last year's Dead of Winter. This is just a fantastic piece, and it really sort of fit the theme of it this year. So when Daniel took over Dead of Winter last year, he put a lot more of this type of stuff into it. And because that didn't come back, I was able to get it, and it really fit in well with a lot of the sort of the vibe of the ritual aspect of this maze, which I'll get deeper into the story as we sort of go through. Again, this is more of that hay room. This year when you come through, you'll be greeted by, well, greet maybe isn't the right word, but you'll encounter the first senior trip student when you come in the door. She'll come around here, and at this point you're introduced to the old man of the barn, who's through black magic, he's been alive for about 150 years, sort of living off what he's able to scavenge from the poor unfortunate tourists that get too close. He is up there. He's going to tell you that he's making a game of this stuff. He's going to send you on your way. And you're also going to meet the Hog, which is his number one son, huge guy with a pig mask, who's going to come out and basically let you know, hey, this is your time to start moving. This is a game, and let's see if you can make it out. So, you know, they know they're going to kill everybody that walks in. It's just they're trying to make it a little more fun for themselves.
Is it true that it ties into the lore of some of the Ghost Town Alive?
It actually does, yes. What? Yeah, when I was coming together, when I was writing it last year, it really was, well, what can I do with a barn outside of Calico, right? Because that's what we have. So the idea I came up with is, well, why don't I make it a barn outside Old Calico, right? So it's the backstory ties in with there's an old farmer named Guthrie Parnell, who is the sort of the relative of the Parnell family of Ghost Town Alive that nobody wants to talk about. He has this barn on the outer skirts of town. He tried to help Sarah Marshall escape when all of that funky stuff went down. She did the initial ritual that extended his life, but then she got right out of Dodge, and he was left here with this extraordinarily long life, but no way to perpetuate it. So he tried to recreate that. The Green Witch's magic is always more graceful and sort of elegant looking. It looks refined, and what he's done to perpetuate it just doesn't have that panache that she has, I guess.
More brute force gore and ritual.
Yes, definitely. But you know, it keeps working, so I guess good for him.
He's doing something.
He's doing something right. I mean, he looks great for 150. So I mean, I hope I look that good when I'm 150. We're going to pass through this door and try to escape the barn. I guess I should go, since how that's where the camera is. Trying to get my good side. As we come around here, there really wasn't a lot of, from last year's version, the refinements were making better use of that hayloft area to turn it into a showpiece. This was here last year, and this was over there last year. It's a little bit of an effect where it comes down. It was sort of out of the way last year, but it was, when I tightened this up, I felt like it had a much better way of camouflaging itself and actually scares some people now. So that's a big plus. Now this is the holding area where the sons of the Gray Man keep all of the prisoners that they get when they haven't really decided what to do with them yet. It's also where the chickens live. Well, I don't think they're doing a good job of living, but it's where they are. Dogs seen better days. So this is, again, when you're coming through, this is another spot where a student's going to let you know, hey, we got to go. So they're going to try to urge you to go through. This guy slides from the back and slams into the window, so you get a startle scare out of that. We do have another door, and this is, again, one of the things that we're able to do on the lower attendance days, is that we have these doors shut so that we can get that sense of, we got to go, oh, we can't go, sort of stop. And then, terrifying, isn't it? So this will open up, but we also have the Hog character. He makes another appearance in this room. He comes out with a scare, and you get sent along your way here. This area is a pig run, basically. It's where the pigs come up through here. You see the old mama pig. She's eating a lot. She's very sleepy. And nice little mantra: feed the pig, feed the man, offer all to him. That sort of ties into the Gray Man. Yes, it's his family, but not everybody always gets along with their family. But what he figured out a long time ago is that if he gets his sons and he raises them in a way that it's almost like this dogmatic cult, that they're just so much easier to control. I mean, if you get it in early that this is the way things are, then he's got it set for life. So really, he doesn't even care about his sons. He really just cares about himself and his horse, you know, and some of his animals. But if he makes them think they're all part of a bigger thing, then they're much easier to control. So the sons are kind of just as victimized as the senior trip students, but that's their problem. They're murderers, who cares?
Okay, so tell us about this area, Gus.
Well, seems like I asked so nicely, but don't. You got your knee and your food. When you come up the pig run area, this is the area that I like to affectionately call the livestock. This is where, well, going a step backwards, the gray man pretty much when he gets people comes in, everybody has a potential use. What he likes to do is he keeps the women that he thinks are potentially have a good gene pool. He gets them and he has them processed to be proper wives for him so that he can perpetuate the family and, you know, keep it all going.
Well, because food and water and cages is the way to a healthy marriage, right?
Well,
and fuzzy handcuffs.
it's all about Stockholm Syndrome, I guess.
I suppose.
Yeah. But Norm, I don't think you're his type, I'm sorry.
No?
No.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna...
You should probably just get out here.
Okay.
But last year, for those of you who did see last year's Maves, we did have the pig area and the wives separated, but I thought it's fun to, you know, bring all the important things together like pigs and women. So anyway...
They're very big on green, on being green. Everything appears to be reused.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
One thing I would like to...
Reduce, reuse,
one
recycle.
thing, absolutely. One thing I would like to point out, another of the little Easter eggs that Daniel and I worked on this together last year, and there was one important thing that I felt was we needed in the livestock area, which has made it to this year, and that's our darling Clementine from the Mine Ride.
Yes.
That's her?
That is one
her.
of the Clementines from the Mine Ride. So
Sweet.
there she is.
So we know what happened to her now.
Yeah, there she is.
She made it to livestock.
She lives in a basket. So what I wanted to do this year is coming down here. We didn't ever, this area didn't ever really work for me too well last year, so I wanted to try to change it up. And we were talking about different ways we could do that with video and just have some fun things that we could do. So the idea came up with shadow play, and when I heard that, I knew that was what I wanted to do. So we're getting a glimpse of what happens down the back hall. The hog comes in, he's sitting down, he's having a nice peaceful, pensive moment, and then he's interrupted by a pair of students on the trip. He doesn't take too kindly to it. So this thing was a lot of fun to film. We actually filmed it using stuntmen from the wagon camp, stuntmen and stuntwomen from the wagon camp. So it was a whole stunt rig, had a day shoot. We filmed it on the stage at CMST, our big show stage. So we were able to set all that up. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then just to break it up, to make it seem more interesting, I put this wall here and took those slats out of it, just so you get the sense that something is happening back around the corner, and it's a bad thing.
Just got it.
Yeah, you definitely got it. It's sort of it goes at a quick clip, but when you're going through, you only see bits and pieces of it. So when we've done various maze tours and things like that, I've always encouraged people to take a look, because it's a really fun effect. So this was another of those things that we had last year. What it says is, abide the gray man, serve his needs, expand the family.
Yes.
So he's just letting the women know their place, and that place is to make lots of nice babies. Moving on. Now the next area is one, I call it the meat. This one is a little fun area. This kind of after they kill a guy and they're not quite sure where they're going to do it yet. One thing I'd like to say is that the gray man himself never really, they play with the whole cannibal thing. A lot of that gets tossed around, but he's not a cannibal. He thinks it's kind of gross. But he likes to keep the people to feed him to his horses. But some of the slower sons, they're probably eating people. It's just...
Well, you do have to bleed them out first.
Yeah, sure. And this, well, you got to put them somewhere. See, the best place to put them is in the hallway leading to the next area.
Well, because how else would you get to them?
And you've got to know where they are.
Right.
So if you have to wade through them every day, it's perfect. Saw effect, it has a foot pedal, all that fun stuff. That guy, that's actually a gastric sleeve. That's performed by a licensed person, so don't worry, he's fine.
Oh. Huh?
He's fine.
He's, okay.
Move along.
Another door.
Another door. This is another one of those areas that we had to add that sense of you're not getting out. And this is something that I actually wanted to have in last year, was a bungee scare. We were able to get it in this year. So sort of tucked around the corner. When this is going, this girl serves as the distraction so that the scare can come in from the side and do his thing. think bungees are fun.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Now, as we go through, this is the area where those who have been chosen to serve the Gray Man in some way, they get branded. This is another good one, another little bit of Knott's history. For those of you who did get to go through the key room that I did in Pinocchio, this was a Geppetto that was getting skinned. So Geppetto has found a new life. He never left Wilderness Dance Hall. He was hiding under Santa.
He's been
during
here
it.
all along.
He's been here all along. That is magic.
It is.
See you later, Geppetto. This I did a couple tweaks on from last year just to try to tighten it up and make it feel a little better. This is where people are branded with the mark of the Gray Man, which is this one on the wall. I did get some other stuff in on the wall. Daniel Miller's initials are over there. And for those of you going back to the GTA tie-ins, over here we have Mayfield Gang on the wall there, and somewhere is, there it is, Ox Mayfield's tag that we had as part of GTA at the end of the first year. So that was fun to get that stuff in there. So as we pass through this way, it's the Gray Man's favorite buddy, his horse. The horse has been alive just as long as he has. He's, I think he's been at Knott's just as long as he has. This guy actually was, for those of you longtime Knott's fans, people who've been to Scary Farm a lot, this guy started out life as the horse that the Silver Bullet Cowboy was riding. He was out on the dry lake under Silver Bullet Ride. So when we had the swamp area, he was the guy that was over there. And then this horse went into Gunslinger's Grave the first year. When we put the maze over there, we sort of just kept him there, got rid of the rider. He spent a couple years over at Gunslinger, and here he is now. He's looking good. He's a good, friendly horse.
He's holding up.
He is holding up pretty well. He's got a great smile.
So is it the Gray Man that's keeping him alive, or was he part of the deal with the original witch?
I think the Gray Man is keeping him alive. He wasn't really a deal. Maybe it was a package deal that he doesn't really want to talk about because he's embarrassed about it, but he really likes his horse. And, the horse is kind of showing its age, but...
Not really. I think a lot of good years left.
I mean, what is he in horse years?
I don't even know, what is a horse year?
I don't know.
I mean, we all know dog years. That's like 7 years.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Something
easy
like
to
that.
calculate.
Somebody out there knows what horse years are.
Put it in the comments.
You gotta find it. Coming through. This is the room where that ritual takes place. What he takes is a nice, fresh, hot-blooded young person. This is one of our senior strip students. And they bleed him out into here, and he just drinks and lives. It's good old-fashioned
So he just
fun.
drinks the blood and lives.
There's some other voodoo going on in there, sure. But he hasn't told me what it is. I think he's a little embarrassed about it.
No? Oh, we actually have another mantra over here.
We do! No life too short, no gift too great. Live inside him. This is I really do think that I have a future writing Hallmark cards.
Yeah.
But,
Would you call that an inspirational or a thank
I
you?
think so.
Or
Well, I think it's sort of an inspirational thing that, that's for whoever's tied up here being bled out. It just lets them know that, yeah, it may suck right now, but look what you're doing. You're helping this guy live forever. It's great. And you can get a good look here at the shirt, the little Jonestown High senior trip.
It's so wrong.
That stain's not going to come out.
Well,
Doesn't
yeah.
look like it.
Maybe it's one of those things where you buy it torn now. I
Yeah.
like the faded things. I
Yeah.
mean, I've never been a fan of that because I find my own way to destroy things, but there you go.
Kid.
Well, and I noticed the candles, so at least there's a sense of,
It's a nice
Ceremony.
calming moment. It's very
Yeah.
peaceful. Yeah, and then this is another place where when we have the ability to do so, this is another closed room that you walk
crap them
into.
in here.
This little area is one I call the chop shop. This is where the Gray Man does his little arts and crafts. This is a good use for dead people, I think, or he thinks so. They look great. He's got a real fashion sense, a little real style.
It's almost pirate-like, really.
Kinda, yeah. He's just having fun with it. It probably changes it seasonally, to be honest.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Maybe he's got a future as a maze designer. I don't know.
No clue.
Got me. And then we're gonna go outside. Once you get out, you finally made it. You survived. So this is the area where all the fun stuff happens. once you think you've made it out, you really haven't. We did have a moratorium, I guess is the nice way of putting it, at Knott's for the longest time about chainsaws. There were some incidents and some guest concerns that had happened. Thankfully, we've been able to address that. We've gotten some safety precautions built into the saws now that hopefully will prevent any future issues, and we were able to get them back this year. This is something that we were shooting for last year, and unfortunately it didn't happen. So when you come out here, you think you're free, but the gray man and the hog come out with chainsaws, and they're going to get you.
And how many chainsaws do you have in here?
There should be two. There should be two, one for each person.
Gotcha. And they pop out like here.
Each one of them has a shed, you know, with you never quite know where they're going to be and where they reset, but they kind of come from the shed. This was another of those things that I was very insistent on. We needed this. Pink flamingos,
yes,
ladies and gentlemen,
indeed,
because
yeah.
nothing says America like pink flamingos.
Or good taste.
You can never have too many pink flamingos. Yeah, I think this, to me, this shed was, we've seen throughout kind of the gray man's way of decorating in his style. This was kind of how the hog was emulating the old man, right? So he did the pink flamingos, and he wanted to go with the skulls, but just for fun, he did some great knife garland.
Yeah.
Because he thought that brought it all together really
Season's
well.
greetings.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that's it for the Red Barn Maze.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for taking us through and showing us the little bits and pieces and nooks and crannies.
Well, you're welcome. I really do like doing maze tours like this. I know we do your Horror Buzz events and things like that, but for the people who really are that dedicated to Knott's and all the haunts and all that stuff, it's fun to just get that feedback, and it's not often you get a chance to really look at this stuff and see.
Yeah, the detail is amazing, and you never have the time to see it when.
Oh, of course not.
Even
Because you're running for your life.
Right, and you know,
well, there's that detail.
there's that little bit of you don't know who's going to jump out at you. But yeah, there's so much detail too, and one of the things I was really happy with this year that you didn't see here, but I really felt the lighting in the maze this year was done so well that it really enabled you to see the detail and the level that the props and paint and carpenters and all the crews put into the maze. So I was really happy with the dedication and commitment to just doing a great job that all of those teams did, because you know, without them it's just some junk in my head, but they're able to really make it cool, and yeah, I think it shows.
Well, thank you for your time. And
my pleasure.
People can still come and experience Red Barn this year until October 31st. So go to knotts.com, get your tickets, and yeah, come and run for your life.